Imagine you were sitting down at supper enjoying a nice home-cooked meal of chicken, potatoes, and other vegetables. Did you ever stop to consider how this food got there? 1 out of 3 bites of food you take come from the hard work of bees, says Premier Tech Home and Garden. Today, I will discuss the value of knowledge and how pollination affects us. Then, we will look at the value of community and how bees contribute to our food source. And finally, we will look at how the value of bees' contributions are being harmed by humans. I've done research on this topic and have seen how important bees are to us and the planet and how their extinction could harm us all. People should value everything bees do for us and our ecosystem. Knowledge. Acquaintance with truths or principles as from study or investigation. Pollination is a very important process to the ecosystem and living organisms. The process of a male part of a plant fertilizing other plants to the female part in order to reproduce seeds, nuts, fruits, and many more, says article Exploring the Process of Pollination from perfectbee.com. People are too afraid of bees to understand how important their job is to our daily lives. Nobody wants to be stung by a bee, so we either ignore them or kill them when we see one. But little do we know that a bee sting affects the bee more than it affects us. A bee will only sting if they feel that their lives or their hive is threatened. The stinger of a bee is made of 2 barbed lancets. When a bee stings someone, it is nearly impossible to pull it back out. The stinger is then left behind along with the parts of the digestive tract, muscles, and nerves. This is the abdomen of the bee being torn apart, which results in death, says earthsky.org. If we all had a better understanding of what pollination is, and that the fact a bee doesn't want to sting you just as much as you don't want them to, we would all be more cautious about them. Community. A social group of any size whose members reside in a specific locality, share government, and often have a common culture and historical heritage. We as a community do not see how much bees help us through our food production. Pollination allows plants to produce fruits, nuts, food, and many more seeds. Living in an agricultural state, food production is very important. Bees are a mass production of food. They provide us with the help produce approximately $19 billion worth of agricultural plants in the U.S. alone in 2010, says Tucker on onegreenplanet.org. Pollinators are also essential components of the habitats and ecosystems that many wild animals rely on for food and shelter, from the article The Importance of Pollinators from USDA. Bees' work is important not just to humans, but to other animals and insects as well. Bees also produce their own food, such as honey, but not every insect and animal can say that they do the same. As we can see, bees have a major impact on all aspects of life everywhere, and hopefully knowing this can help us as a community that we need bees more than we realize. Contribution. The act of contributing. Bees are not able to contribute to the planet as they should because of the harm humans are putting on them. We are constantly spraying chemicals and pesticides in our crop fields in order to keep bad insects and weeds away. There are different ways that bees are dying from sprayed chemicals and pesticides. One is direct contact of the insecticide on the bee while it is foraging in the field. The bee immediately dies and does not return to the hive, which prevents the spreading of chemicals to other bees and the hive as well. The second, more deadly way is when the bee comes in contact with the pesticide and transports it back to the colony, either as contaminated pollen or nectar on the body, says College of Agriculture and Environmental Science, University of Georgia. Though we may not be spraying the hives directly, factors such as wind can be a problem. Blowing the chemicals towards a hive or where bees pollinate. By us doing this, we are just killing them more effectively and faster. In conclusion, now that we have learned that knowledge of pollination is efficient to have, how bees affect the community, and how stopping the contribution process the bees do is bad for us all, we can see more clearly how important that they really are to us. There are many methods around this problem, and we should all take part in them. The impact bees have affect us in many other lives as well, and in many categories of our lives, and we should all be more aware of this issue.